living museum that connects craft practices and tourism, how can they bring the spotlight on intangible cultural heritage, linking it to the global dialogue on sustainability?
Thank you. Is it working, I hope? As you know, museums are great brand ambassadors for countries. And we hope that the creative economy in Tamil Nadu will foster more active, visitor-friendly, and the internationally renowned museums, because that's what will drive the economy. If you look around the world, museums, and I'm talking about international quality museums, they bring in billions of dollars. They bring in billions of dollars through expanded jobs, through new hotels, restaurants, boutiques, a lot of craft organizations, small manufacturing, and I think that Tamil Nadu has a chance to have that happen also. Museums have a global connection. There are many alliances which bring museums together and help in training, from UNESCO, ICOM, alliances like the American Alliance of Museum and European alliances, and Asian alliances also. And one of the main issues, of course, that museums are looking at today is sustainability. And here I think India has a very good opportunity to be a forerunner in communicating sustainability. We have, of course, through our exhibitions, most of our exhibitions are handmade. So they were made at a time when there was much more importance given to nature. And India is also very lucky that we have so many living, skilled artisans, and that interconnection between visitors and artisans, I think, is very important for stimulating both the artisan and the visitor in appreciation and in more skills. And I think as a museum, one of the things we can do is to be a major platform for workshops and development for artisans, because they will need more e-marketing help. They need help with more materials, different materials, design, packaging. And I think that the Tamil Nadu government should work on really fostering experts who can actually tackle some of these situations. We are a platform already, we have collaborations with a lot of NGOs and women's self-help groups for marketing at the campus. And I hope that, since it's a business thing, I hope that both corporates and Tamil Nadu government looks at how they can utilize craft in their offices and what they can do. We hope that there's a good future for artisans. They are actually one of the main indicators of our culture and our identity. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And yes, I think alliances and interconnectedness that you spoke about are such key things to keep in mind. And whether it's between artisans, whether it's national and international connectedness, or like you said, with the government and the artisans as well. So thank you for sharing your thoughts, Deborah. I'll move to Mr. Sriram V. What has your experience been in using traditional art form as a tool for education and development? And how do you think the intangible cultural heritage of India can help to address some of the global challenges around sustainability?
See, the first thing is that I have never experienced such an encouraging response as I did in anything else that I did other than this activity of telling the story of Tamil Nadu at various heritage forums and walks that I conduct. And I believe that there is a very strong demand for this. People are very curious to know about their stories, their past, and there are people from outside who also would like to know about the story of our region. So I think there is a huge amount of requirement for this kind of thing. But at the same time, when you're looking about sustainability, I guess we are looking at eco-friendliness of the whole thing, and then we are looking at friendliness itself without communal divides, religious divides, fights, etc., etc. And then the third method of how we get across this entire story to a larger public. So, and I think, firstly, I think there is a story out there that needs to be told. That is the first thing. Chennai, for instance, or Tamil Nadu for that matter. Take, for instance, Chennai, the fact that in 375 years, there's not been a single communal riot in this city. We don't have a record of a single inter-community strife. Is this not a story that needs to be told? sustainability. When you're looking at communities coming and living over here, this is the only city of India where this has not happened, and people have come from everywhere and they have lived happily. Secondly, the first city in the whole country where housing based on community was banned not 100 years ago, in 1730. Chintadripet was that area where people were not allowed to build houses based on community. It had to be communal living on a much larger scale. So these are stories that need to be brought out and told. And in my opinion, the easiest way to go about it is to go on a walking tour of, encouraging people within every locality and every community. You need to have spokespersons to come out from every area. Why can't Thiruvanmiyur have a person? Why cannot Taramani have a person? Today, you go to Pudukkottai, for instance. I was there the last month. So many historic monuments with nobody to tell you a single thing about it. You just walk around, you pick up broken pieces of information that are available on YouTube or on blogs and things like that, and then you piece together a story. So in my view, having spokespersons from individual communities, so that becomes sustainable. You're not having somebody coming in from outside to talk about it. B, that person or that group earns money based upon what they are doing. They become proud about their heritage. It's exactly what happens in England. Every house has got a blue plaque, then people are proud about the blue plaque, they talk about it, and then gradually, there is a transformation. The same thing needs to be done over here. And thirdly, use the electronic media. Use social media to take forward the story and make sure that it is available in multiple languages for people. I think with this, we've got a winning formula. That's it.
Thank you so much. Yes, I think community's role in placemaking is, I think it's wonderful if there are initiatives to recognize community's role in placemaking, and the more we sort of strengthen that, I think there is merit in, bringing them into the mainstream conversation around creativity. And the role of design, and in that balance, and what do you see as a role of craft-based enterprises as a route for women empowerment, and also if I can bring in the sustainability point as well, and how would you link all this?
I don't know if can you hear me? Yes. Okay. I work with these women. I work with lots of villages and women, mainly to revive languishing crafts, crafts that we have already lost. My main interest was in reviving the craft, but as I was working, I realized that unless the craftsperson is sustained and they have a livelihood, the craft is anyhow going to die. So my languishing crafts projects have all become livelihood projects now. I work in several villages, and we do all the things that you have just mentioned. We work with the natural, mainly with the Palmyra basket or the Kottan of Chettinad. I work in that area in Sivaganga district in several villages. When we started, I only, with great difficulty, got 5 people, but now we have about 125 with me. This is our 24th year. They all make a living out of this basket making. They earn as much as the men today in the village. They've gained a lot of respect. They have traveled all over the world. They have traveled all over India with exhibitions. It's given them great exposure and so confidence. They are respected highly now in the villages where earlier they had never stepped out of their houses. We have several communities living in the village. And in the beginning, I had a lot of trouble communicating between all of them. But now all of them work together. So that has given us the village has helped us to build a center. So that is, the community has been helped like that. We work with palm leaf, which is a natural fiber. And the palm tree doesn't suffer in any way. It resurrects itself. and everything we use is natural except, of course, the dyes. We work with natural dyes also, but we also use commercial dyes. But otherwise, everything is handheld machineries or whatever. We have no need for electricity. And the only thing we use is a little bit of firewood for the dye bath. There's hardly any wastage. We don't waste any palm leaf. For the bigger products, if there's anything left over, we make smaller ones. We have taught the women to directly market everything themselves today. I mean, to price it, to know exactly how to cost it and all that. We still have to help them with the marketing. That is what we find. And instead of making individual baskets that each woman would have made, we work in groups so that we take large orders, which is the only way we can make it financially viable. And I believe that if something is not financially viable, it's not going to last. So that is also being economically independent has given them great confidence. We help them to get their money. Earlier we were paying them per piece, but now they said, give it to us at one shot because it gets wasted. So now we keep accounts and give them the money on between the 1st and 5th of every month. And it helps them to buy their rations and pay their school fees. And after that, now they are really working well. And we take them on holidays so that they have exposure. So what I feel is that these women, given such nice houses, in a good environment, with good air, good water, there are schools in Tamil Nadu. We have the convenience of good schools nearby, reasonably close, and good primary health centers. The need for them to move into a city doesn't arise if they have the employment where they are. And I think with this kind of thing, if we are able to do it and all over the place, it might make the villages much better places to live in, and they don't have to migrate to the to the cities. And marketing is the only thing. We have now completely digitalized our entire operation from design to accounting, and all our women have mobile phones. So even COVID has taught us that. And from wherever we are in Chennai, we are able to control all the villages and send the designs and market it for them and the orders very smoothly. So we have all our older women they've all been with me for 24, this is my 24th year. They've been with us for 24 years. The older women who cannot work so much now have become our trainers, and they go to all the different places. We have two-wheelers for them to travel from village to village, and we are growing. I was very reluctant to grow in the beginning, but now I realize that I have to do it. And we have research, document, and revive is my policy for my foundation, which I started in 2000. And we have researched and documented all the crafts that we have worked with and the Kotan. We have published some of them. Many more are there due for publication. I think I've answered all your questions. If there's anything else.
Thank you so much. What an inspiring journey that must have been in the last 24 years. Congratulations, ma'am. And I think that point that you spoke about empowering people in the village and finding a financially viable solution for them is really one of the fabulous ways of dealing with the situation. And I hope there are many people in the room who are thinking of similar projects who can take inspiration from that. I think it's been really, thank you so much all of you for sharing your views. It's been really wonderful to hear your views where you talk about sustainability, not just from the environment lens, but also from the very important economic lens as well, because one can't exist without the other. Before I ask anything else, I'd like to invite members of the audience. We are very short on time, so we can take 3 questions. And I would request a volunteer to please help with the mic. If you could kindly raise your hand and also indicate who you'd like to ask the question, if it's to someone in particular.
Good morning. I'm Santanam from Dawn Foundation based at Madurai. We have been regularly organizing what's called a heritage walk, as Mr. Sriram was telling, to many historic places in the South India. And we find now a very good response from the local communities. They feel very proud about their history. As Sriram rightly pointed out, many years back they were not aware as to how culturally rich their villages were, how good their roots were. Now we have been able to dig out through historians from the American College and also Mijro College. They are working closely with us. So that's a fantastic thing, and like what ma'am said, Sakshi ma'am said, we are also developing kind of ecotourism. We are promoting self-help groups to manage the historic sites so that they get their livelihoods. They need not go to the city in search of livelihoods. All such wonderful work is being done. Besides this, we are also arranging series of historic talks by the specialists. In fact, tomorrow we are organizing the 122nd lecture series on World Heritage and Culture by Dr. G. Setharaman and Dr. V. Vedachalam at Madurai. It's also online link is also there. So what we want is, we want some kind of support because this is generating very good response. We would like to collaborate with the British Council or any institution so that this can be, streamlined and sustainable. We are doing it in a very systematic way, and the response is also quite good. We would like to have your kind of collaboration so that it becomes more, friendly, and it reaches through several other social media partners. Thank you.
Thanks very much for the information. I think it's great that heritage walks are becoming more and more popular. I go on them regularly in Delhi, where I live. I just wanted to add one point. Bethany Hughes, who's a UK historian, spoke at an event on the creative industries that we held in collaboration with the Nehru Centre in London last year. And she said something I thought that was really, really interesting. It's obvious, but it was interesting. That the talks that she's been doing, the books that she's been writing about Turkey in this instance, and the television programs that she's been making with local historians about aspects of Turkish history are being cited as one of the main contributors to a significant increase in tourism in Turkey. So I think, that's the kind of thing we need to be thinking really broadly. So how can initiatives like we're all talking about today be connected to digital media and to other kind of sustainable economic plans that states or cities might have? So I just wanted to add that. Thanks.
Good morning. My name is Deepa. I'm with the British Council. My question is to Dr. Deborah Tyagarajan. You made a point about museums, and I think museums are very important cultural spaces, and where communities come together, families come together. Coming from experience of having visited 2 museums over the Christmas break, I don't think even though we have such a rich cultural heritage in our country, our museums are really doing enough, or they're not accessible spaces. I went to a public museum, I went to a private museum, and dilapidated buildings, lack of access, lack of ramp access, no brails, improper lighting, unusable toilets. So if you're talking about, making our cultural heritage something that is not just for international audience, for our own, our own society, our own communities. I feel something more needs to be done. When as a person in that space, what do you think could be done?
If I take Dakshina Chitra and what other people have said, the Dawn Foundation and Sriram, I think that people are actually hunting for their roots. We have at Dakshina Chitra, most of our visitors are young people. Up till about age 40, from their mid-20s to 40, they come with families. So they're looking for their roots. Now, when I said that there are global connections between museums, there are so many opportunities for people to learn how to run museums. Government museums have to be released from the control of bureaucrats. It's a punishment posting to be head of a museum in Madras and in India. When people don't want you in a line position, they send you to a museum. Museums need expertise. And they need passionate people who are passionate about culture. If you release them from the restrictions of government, you will find that they grow beautifully. Now, we are a private museum. We're on government land, and government has let us grow as we need to grow. We've grown organically, and we've been supported primarily by corporates. But that's how a museum has to be run. If you have some mentors, some people who are experts who can help you with museums and what has to be done, you'll find that museums will change immediately. But they have to be released from bureaucratic control and given to the people who know how to run a museum. That's all I can say. It's a slow process. I think it's going on all over India, but that control has to be released. Only then will the toilets be clean? Will the exhibitions be beautiful? Will it be communicated properly? Will there be many programs? And people will do what the public wants, and that's very important. Thank you.
Is there any other question? Before that, just to add to that, but I think there has been a recognition of museums as important spaces, and there are a lot of government initiatives to not just bring in new energy, but also to collaborate with agencies outside to try and...
I'd just like to add that everything need not become a museum also. So, you know, there is this tendency now increasingly that every old building is designated as a museum. Now, that creates a huge pressure when the original museums themselves are not sustainable. What are we going to have with so many other museums? The question is, can they just be living buildings with regular work going on, at the same time having some kind of an electronic guided tour so that people come? It happens all over the world. You've got buildings that are part of regular government functioning, which still encourage visitors to come in, and then they are taken around a tour of a certain set of places, and then they are brought out and left. So if a building remains in use, then it is prone to better toilets, better corridors. The moment it becomes for someone else, then I think it loses the emphasis on keeping everything clean or making everything welcome. So I would encourage buildings to remain in use with government departments, and at the same time encourage visitors to come over a designated area and go back. It's like visitors' day in stately homes and things like that, so that kind of thing.
Yeah, I think that's a great initiative, and I hope that does get started soon. I think we had one question, sorry.
Hello. Welcome, sir. My name is Lalit Kumar, and I am from the CS background, diploma student, sir. I have a small question for you, sir. On your research on historic things in South India and mostly India, what are the main challenges you face, sir?
You mean in terms of presenting it or in terms of information?
In terms of researching. Actually, நம்ம கோயிலுக்கு போனாலே ஆட்டோமேட்டிக் அந்த நிறைய ஓல்டன் திங்ஸ்லாம் ஃபைண்ட் பண்ண முடியாது. நாமளே
அப்புறம் நிறைய மக்கள் என்ன அப்புறம் அடிப்பாங்க. பட் நான் இந்த கேள்விக்கு எனக்கு தெரிஞ்ச அளவுக்கு சொல்லிடுறேன். ஃபர்ஸ்ட் ஆஃப் ஆல், கதைக்கும் ஃபேக்ட்டுக்கும் இந்தியாவில் ஒரு டிஃபரன்சியேஷனே கிடையாது. ஸோ இதை ஷிஃப்ட் பண்ணுறதுலேயே நமக்கு டைம் ஆகிடும். ஏன்டா இந்த கோவில் 10ஆவது நூற்றாண்டு தானே கட்டப்பட்டது? இல்லை சார், பிரம்மா தான் முதல்ல கட்டினார். ஸோ அதுலேருந்து இந்த சண்டை ஆரம்பிக்கும். ஸோ கிடையாதுப்பா, அது 10ஆவது நூற்றாண்டில் ராஜராஜ சோழன் டைமில் தான் இது வந்தது, இல்லை அதுக்கு முன்னாடி வந்தது அப்படின்னு சொன்னால், இல்லை சார், பிரம்மா தான் இங்கே வந்தார். ஸோ அதுலேருந்து இந்த ஃபேக்ட் வர்சஸ் ஃபிக்ஷன் டிவைட் பண்ணுறது இஸ் அ வெரி பிக் சேலஞ்ச் இன் தமிழ்நாடு. அண்ட் இன் இந்தியா இட்ஸ் ஈவன் வர்ஸ். த ரெஸ்ட் ஆஃப் இந்தியா இட்ஸ் ஈவன் வர்ஸ். இங்கே ஐ வுட் சே இட் இஸ் டு அ சர்டன் எக்ஸ்டென்ட். தட் இஸ் ஒன். செகண்ட்லி, இருக்கிற இன்ஃபர்மேஷன் எப்படி பொத்தி வச்சுப்பாங்க, வெளியில் கொடுக்கவே மாட்டாங்க. சார், உங்கள்கிட்ட ஒரு புக்கு இருக்காமே, அதை ஒரு தடவை பார்க்கலாம், நான் செத்து போனாலும் சரி என் கூட தகனம் பண்ணுங்க அந்த புக்கை, ஆனால் அவங்களுக்கு கொடுத்துடாதீங்க. திஸ் இஸ் தி நெக்ஸ்ட், திஸ் ஹோல் ப்ராப்ளம் ஆஃப் not wanting to share fundamental information, primary information. How does that affect anybody? Primary information I will not share. So then interpretation is the next thing that nobody is willing to do. This lack of point of view completely. So when you start, you begin reading only that. And then slowly you begin to realize that there is an alternate history that is coming up from the ground level. Somewhere you have to match these two and arrive at what you think is your truth. It may not be the truth at the end of the day. So these are the challenges. Thank you.
So I'd like to add something to that, please. Yes. No, I find that even when we are doing our craft documentation, I told you we do research, documentation, and then we revive the crafts. Information is there's hardly any information available, and even the oldest people have forgotten everything, and I'm old myself. But there are so many older people who don't know anything. So between the oral documentation that we had and the written documentation we are trying to do now, I don't know how much information is really available. So I'm desperate to just document whatever is available so that we don't lose even this. And from there, I think we just have to, as you said, imagine, because so much is missing and we really don't have much information of the past.
I just want to add that two of her fantastic books that Mrs. Visalakshi Ramaswamy has done. One is Chettiar Heritage, which gives you a complete picture of the entire Chettiar culture starting from one end to the other. And the second one is on the Khotan. As small as the Khotan, such a beautiful book which talks about what little information available.
Very well, but they should be promoted because a lot of cultural, and I would say diplomatic excursions and all bring, from other countries, they bring their folk groups with them. And we have wonderful troops, but they need more encouragement. Like artisans, if they don't, as Visalakshi said, if they don't get proper remuneration, if they don't get respect and dignity, the main thing they want is respect and dignity. Then if they get that, they will continue. If they don't, they won't continue their art forms. And that will be a huge loss to the country.
So what we do is when lots of students come and work with me in Chettinad, and whenever they come, they stay with me. So they do their own thing, and then they also help us with whatever we are doing. That's one thing. And the other thing is to do with what Debbie said. Like all these folk artists and all of them, it's not only the dance forms, I don't know anything about that, but what I can see is the way the costumes have degenerated, the folk dances. They're really becoming embarrassing now to even look at those costumes. I think we should get, the interested people should get together and try to make it go back to what it originally was. After all, if you are trying to take the dance back to the original, then the costume also should follow. I think that's a good thing to do.
Yep. And I agree, it's a really important way of creating connections and supporting livelihoods. I did a homestay trip around Wayanad in northern Kerala, and it still stays with me even today. So some of the ways that we do that at the British Council, for example, we create opportunities for young students to work together over an extended period of time. We brought together 20 students from Edinburgh, from Scottish universities, to work with students from NID in Ahmedabad, and they co-created an exhibition about links between India and Scotland over time. And they put that exhibition on in Ahmedabad, in Delhi, and in Edinburgh. So those friendships will last them a lifetime. We have connections between schools. So one example, again, a Delhi-based one. I'm based in Delhi, so sorry for that. But a school that created a link with a UK school 10 years ago. They still meet every year. They bring students every year. Those students stay with families from the school. They learn different traditions from those families, and again, those friendships last a lifetime. So it's really, really critical. So we have lots of different ways that we do that through our different programs. Yeah.
Thank you so much. And on that note, thank you everyone for sharing your views, and thank you all of you for being here.
Thank you so much for that. That was fabulous. Just request all our speakers to stay for the second session. Please join us, and then we can give you the mementos at the end of session 2. Thank you so much, Ruchira. Thank you, Alison. Absolute pleasure. We're going to very quickly pivot to our session number 2, just keeping time in mind. I'd also like to quickly thank Rosa, our sign language interpreter, for doing that session. Thank you, Rosa. And we'll have Devraj, who will take over from session 2. Yes, quick picture, and then we'll begin session 2. Just a reminder, the reports are in your kit that you received when you came in, and there's a brochure as well. Feel free to follow British Council India on Instagram and other social media, as well as visit our website for more information on the work that we do. Thank you so much once again to panel 1. We're going to begin panel 2, which focuses on creativity and technology. I'd like to welcome our moderator, Janaka Pushpanathan, Director, British Council South. She'll be chairing the panel this morning. Our panelists, please do come on stage while they refurbish the refreshments. Ms. Archana Prasad, founder and CCO GUI.ai. Bijoy Arpotharaj, founder and CEO of Phantom FX. Samir Seth, Director Marketing, India Dolby Digital Laboratories. And Ms. Mala Manyan, Producer, Executive Producer, and COO, iGene. Thank you so much for being with us. This is panel 2.
Hello, check. Is it work? Can you all hear me? All right. All right, without waiting for water to be changed. Let's begin. This panel is on creative arts and technology, and we have an amazing array of panelists, everyone doing something really exciting in their own fields. And also, I think in our pre-panel catch-up, we had some really interesting discussions around gender and participation of women and other things. So my first question is to Archana. And hi, Archana. And Archana is based in Bangalore and Seattle, and welcome to Chennai. Can you tell us about how to make technology more accessible, considering your own journey with technology and creative arts? And how does one sort of, look at what kind of value do they sort of contribute to the entire creative economy ecosystem, and your experience of doing this in your day-to-day work as well?
Thank you, Jennifer.
That's not working.
Thank you so much. Just a quick little bit about what we do. We're called GUI.ai, and we're a low-code orchestration platform that enables people, both creative sector people, but also novice developers, to come in and use, learn, tweak, and create their own unique workflows for their own need. We also support enterprise clients, so that's just a bit of a background about what we do. To Janaka's question, I think I'm a big fan of culture leading tech. I come from the arts and arts sector primarily, and then kind of deep dived into technology several years ago. GUI.ai is actually a very good example of an arts project, a digital arts project that was supported initially by the British Council, that is now a fully functioning startup, registered both in India and the US. In fact, we're going into our Series A funding after our seed round this year. So any investors in the room, please get in touch with me. A couple of examples that specifically speak to Janaka's question, I'd say, is one, we built out a low resource language model. And what that means is effectively a lot of countries, especially India, we have hundreds, I think more than 700 languages, several of which are underserved when we look at AI models in particular. So what we have done is built out a leaderboard, which allows people to compare language models that are translation and speech models for their unique use. They can bring data from their own users in languages that are not supported currently by the larger models, and then train it more so. And what we've seen in that is that, and we're doing this in partnership with IISc's Art Park and the Nilekani's Ekstep Foundation. And what we've already started to see is that this might itself push these larger language models like Bhashini and AI for Bharat to focus more on some of these lesser focused on languages. Another one, and the one dear to my heart, is Farmer.chat. It's a chatbot built on large volumes of data, both text, video, and audio, gathered over, I think, over 2 decades by our partner Digital Green. This chatbot can speak in multiple languages and is accessible to 4 million farmers across India, Ethiopia, and Kenya. And anecdotally, actually, we've had more than 35,000 conversations that have happened since we demoed it at the UN National Assembly last year, and the majority of which actually are from women farmers, actually accessing and talking to the bot at night after their long day of work. And so I think these 2 examples give you a sense of the potential of what we can do for the development sector, for, speaking to what the previous panelists were talking about, the documentation of crafts and built heritage and oral traditions could benefit vastly from some of these new technologies. I'll do one last plug-in. I'm also a co-founder of Be Fantastic, and we are a platform that support the learning and upskilling of these new advanced technologies, particularly in the AI space. And we do that in collaboration with bringing together people from the technology sector, but also from the art sector and activist sector. And none of these, I think, would have been possible without a wide range of supporters from Nilekani Foundation, from British Council, Goethe Institute, and the government itself. So, yeah.
Thanks, Archana. Thank you. I mean, I think, in a sense, you've sort of democratized technology for a wider group of people, and it's wonderful to see that there's so much of women participation. And one of our sort of, I think, when we discussed even earlier, we spoke about gender sitting at the middle of it. But I think in terms of technology, there's still a long way to go. But great, thank you very much, Bijoy. Tell us about how you see the future, given your background. How do you see the future developing, especially with artists and young entrepreneurs? You know, when they come and work together, what do you think? I mean, what do you think is going to be? So, what does success look like in your when you look at it? And also, how can you then support them with multiple opportunities? And we heard across, not just the previous panel, but all across yesterday, we spoke about, you know, looking at society building sort of frameworks and scaffolding. But from your experience, what do you think, you know, one can do?
Thank you everyone for having me here. I'm Bijoy Arpudraj. I'm the founder and managing director of Phantom Digital Effects Limited. We are a visual effects company. We are providing services with graphics and animation for a lot of international and domestic. Name any recent movies that has been a very big hit in India. We've been part of it, and we are highly creative organization. And we are a public limited company as well. So that's just a small intro about me and the company. Regarding this, you know, the attraction towards the creative industry, recently we raised a QIP funding of 800 million rupees, which actually got traction from global investors like Bank of America and even Morgan Stanley. So this actually proves that there is so much of potential in India. It attracts a lot of you know, global investors, and there is so much of potential that we can reap on. And this is a very new industry. It's not a new industry, but it's actually a highly growing industry. And I would easily compare it with 90s IT sector. And you know, nowadays the pay that we are, you know, giving out for employees are more than you know, what IT employees are receiving. And the demand for artists and manpower, the highly talented skills, are really you know, in a scarcity, I should say. That is because a lack of awareness of this industry, and not many understand what this is. People think when we say, you know, we are from the creative industry, we work for media, and everybody think that my daughter or son are going to, you know, stand in front of the camera, put all those makeup and dance for someone else, and I don't want to do that. So that is not, you know, the truth. It's something different, and you know, we are into the creative industry. We are supporting. There are so many other roles that we can support. So that is the awareness that we are trying to create among the whole you know, society. We are doing, you know, we are conducting a lot of campaigns and workshops in colleges. We are trying to create awareness as of now, because out of 2 lakh students that are passing out, we are struggling to hire at least 25,000, you know, every year, because they are not skilled enough, or they are not aware of what the industry's requirement are. So that is the biggest gap that we see here, and we are trying to fulfill that gap by you know, working closely with skill development councils nationally, and with the state government as well. And when it comes to entrepreneurs, you know, everybody wants to prove themselves in the creative industry, and of course, you know, there are so many startups. Nowadays we are getting a lot of interest from the government to support our industry, and that's a good gesture, and I think this is really helping our industry. And because of this lack of awareness, not many of this entrepreneurs has come up, but things are changing slowly, and we are looking forward to it. As a senior fellow member of the community, we are trying to morally boost entrepreneurs and youngsters who are willing to come to this industry by educating them, by conducting workshops and stuff. And in terms of women empowerment, we are really trying to hire more women and giving opportunity for them. But as a matter of fact, the number of resumes that we receive from the women are very less, like 5 to 10% is what we receive, because it is all because of our culture and how we have been brought up. And so things are slowly changing, and we are looking forward on a bright future. I would again like to put this point. This is going to be the next IT industry, the creative community. It is not just about films or media, but there are so many other dimensions here. You can be a part of a game, you can develop games, you can be a part of e-commerce, you can do so many stuff when it comes to creativity, and there is no limit for it. That's why it's called creativity, right? So yeah, so this is the opportunities I see with the creative industry.
Thanks, Bijoy. That was very useful. And I think, especially with the state of Tamil Nadu, yesterday we heard the industries minister, talk about the AVGC sector, which is the audiovisual, gaming, and comic, which is now sort of scaled a new high. And we know that from the state there are about 143,000 engineers who graduate every year. And I believe from the vocational side, there's about 119,000 graduates. So I think there's this huge potential for recruitment, like one of our UK-based companies in our UK pavilion. And please do visit, if you do have a little bit of time, do visit our UK pavilion. So one of the companies that's based in the UK does 60% of its recruitment from the state of Tamil Nadu. So that was quite amazing. So amazing growth story here with the state, as well as what you're saying, Bijoy. Thank you. That brings me to Samir. So how do I say this? As content consumers, I think habits have changed, the way young people consume content, and we had a chat about it, Alison, yesterday, about how young people are consuming content. Sometimes it's very worrying, sometimes it's really cool, very good. So from a tech-first brand experience, like the one that you have with Dolby, how do you think technology is helping the creative economy sector as a whole maximize its potential and also elevate the creative storytelling experience? So, and I know you had some really good examples. Do you want to talk us through that?
Sure, will do. Thanks, Janaka. So, sorry. At Dolby, we enable artists, filmmakers, musicians, and storytellers by providing them innovative technology that helps them elevate their storytelling and connect more deeply with the audiences they love. And especially talking about the creative economy, we run a global program called Dolby Institute. This is an initiative that inspires, educates, and empowers new age content creators. And this is something that we do in partnership with various universities, various communities, where we provide them with the technical know-how. We conduct master classes. We give them easy access to Dolby audio and visual technologies so that they can do better storytelling. And since you were talking about consumer behavior and how consumer behavior from a content consumption point of view is changing post-pandemic, consumers are seeking better experiences. They're connecting more with the content they love. They're trying to consume more different genres of content. And for all storytelling, since they're consuming more and they're connecting better with content, they want it in the best possible experience. And this is where, as I said, we work with new age creators. Talking about the Indian context, since you wanted me to cite a few examples, there's a very interesting program we run in India called the Dolby Atmos Music Mix Engineers Honors Club. Now, what this does is the real heroes of music, the mix engineers, these are the guys, the technicians who really bring out the great music experience that the artist has sung. we honor them, we empower them. There's another very interesting series we run here called Behind the Mix. Now, these are interesting stories from the real heroes of filmmaking. Now, the sound designer, the mix engineer, the colorist, these are guys who really, bring your AV or audio-video creation to life. And Chennai, since we are in Chennai, in the city of Chennai, this is a city that's really given us a lot of love. I fondly remember the first Dolby Atmos screen that came up in Chennai back on 12/12/12. And today it's been almost 11 years. There are more than 1,500 theatrical releases in Dolby Atmos in 7 different Indian languages. There are more than 900 Dolby Atmos screens. Talking about Chennai alone, there are 90 plus Dolby Atmos screens. There are more than 200 screens in the state of Tamil Nadu. And all of this was made possible purely because of the love that we've seen from the creative community. The creative storytellers, they use our technology, they use our audiovisual experiences to connect deeper with the audiences they love. I guess that's the journey. That's how we've been empowering the creative economy.
Lovely, thank you so much. And I remember watching one of those very first Dolby experiences in, I think, Satyam Cinema, I think, yeah. Thanks for that. Mala, you've had such an incredible journey. I mean, from, like you yourself said, from pen and paper now to no pen and paper. And Mala has a very strong view about technology, the boon and the bane of it. So, given your sort of journey from traditional media like television, I mean, you were the head of Raj TV in its sort of heydays, and you sort of shaped and created that whole experience for us at that time. And you've now moved to sort of tech-driven landscape with your journey with iGene. Do you want to tell us a little bit about iGene and your work? How do you envision the future convergence of these two, right? I mean, both the sort of traditional media and what you do at iGene. And how is it going to shape the industry going forward, especially against the context of creative economy and cultural industries, especially for women? I know you feel very strongly about that as well. So especially for women and women entrepreneurs and also young investors, since we're at the Global Investor Summit.
Sure. Thank you, Janaka. That was a long question, and I'll try to answer as much as possible. I'm Mala Manyan. Actually, this January, I'm almost nearing the 4th decade in the industry. I started with film processing and printing, and I was probably the only girl around in that industry when I started in 1985. So I started my career with a company called 7th Channel, which had the first lab for processing films and printing, and I was sent to Japan for training in that. Though I'm not an artist or a technician, I've had a very, I should say, an incredible journey, because in administration, I think I'd like to coin a word saying it is creative administration. That's what I do. And I love your coinage of words saying traditional media, film, television. Yes, when we say tradition, sometimes the youngsters might feel that there is some boundary or something fixed, because they think anything little, when you overdo something, it ceases to be traditional. But now, the beauty is tradition itself has evolved and adapted technology. So it is so beautiful that there are no boundaries. And I see the younger generation adapting to it so well. And coming from visual media, right, from photographs to video to television to OTT and feature films and all of that, and now post-production. In iGene, we do color grading as well, and also we are a visual effects company. And as my fellow panelist Bijoy said, it's very difficult to find or to create awareness amongst students who do the popular course is Viscom to come into this industry. But they have very limited knowledge about VFX or even color grading. So what I have been doing for almost 2 decades now is whenever I get a chance to talk to the student community, I talk to them about it is not just being in film in front of the camera that's media or television or film is all about. You have hundreds of other creative as well as technological space behind the camera. And I always say it is in fact even, there's still a taboo that, when you are getting into this industry, they brand you as, oh, film industry. No, you first because they think there is no permanent job here or there is no sustainability here. So they always say you complete your engineering and then you turn your mind or, work to towards creativity. Creativity and technology go hand in hand, there's no doubt about it. But it should not be technology driven. Creativity or content is king, as always. So as long as we use creativity, technology to enhance creativity, I think that will be the best thing to do. And sorry to say amongst so many men and few women, that I always think women can fare far, far better in both the professions that I am in. One is color grading, which is, women have a keen sense of color and thanks, Vijay. And also, when it comes to VFX, the first VFX in the world was created by a group of women. And people, you will be surprised when I say people who can cook creatively and people who can draw creatively, they're all part of our industry, actually. So it is just that you have to adapt to technology and you will become a VFX artist, or you can become a VFX producer, you can become an editor, you can become a colorist. There are so many, opportunities available behind the camera, and where you can so beautifully blend creativity and technology. We also run a school because it's so difficult to find people. We have a VFX technology school which trains young girls and boys, and there's no age limitations. In fact, one another important thing I would like to reach to people, to young students, is that it is not always, there's a better life awaiting only academicians. People always think only when you have a degree, only when you do your post-graduation, because that's become minimum, because MBBS is not enough. You have to do MD, you have to specialize in something like that, engineering, and then what next, what next. It's not that. You can just be a 10th pass or a 12th pass, or all you need is just passion to work in an industry like ours. So that is the greatest plus point. So I always look at children who are not so good in academics, but they're so passionate about drawing. But when you are a story writer or when you're a good artist, people always think that you cannot sustain your life. It doesn't give you a livelihood. But on the contrary, if you can combine it with technology and look for people like us who can nurture you in that field, then I think sky is the limit.
On that very optimistic note, let's take a couple of questions from the audience. I have a couple of mine too, but let's take one or two questions from the audience. Aisha. Let's get a mic to Aisha. Oh, you. Oh.
Yeah. Hello. I run the Little Theatre, which I started 32 years ago. So we do workshops with children, and now we actually do workshops with babies, 1 to 2 year olds and 2 to 4 year olds, because I have now learned that between the age of 1 to 4 is where you need to develop your maximum potential. And if you do not give them those inputs at these ages, those children will not be able to work at a maximum potential when they grow up. And this is where 2 to 4 year olds, we work on developing their imagination. 1 to 2 is where we develop their first experiences. Okay, and I find that it's really, I know it has impacted my 3-year-old granddaughter an awful lot. I worked with her from when she was 2 years old. So we really need to open up how we work. We do not have to wait till they finish engineering. We shouldn't wait until they finish school. We need to be developing both the left and the right hemispheres of the brain, so neither of it is tilted. Okay, so Bijoy, if you need any help, do get in touch with me, because we have incredible talent passing through Little Theatre, because we have a lot of them have gone on to become big stars in the film world. There are a lot of them who are behind and in front of the camera. So it's a small organization, but it's been making a lot of impact in the creative world.
sure, definitely. Thank you.
But I mean, just on Aisha's point about starting early or starting young. So you spoke about the academy, you spoke about your own institution where you're trying to capacity build. Do you have any ideas? I mean, how would you like to respond to Aisha? What do you think?
Yeah, in fact, thanks for bringing that up, because recently, just 2 days ago, I inaugurated a crafts festival, and I was surprised when the principal of the college said, it's an institution, not even a college, a private arts gallery. He said 40,000 artists have passed out in hardly about 10 years. But he said since they don't have a sustainable living, they don't know how to keep this as their own livelihood. So they branch out to different fields. So if we tap, like that's, I think the saying goes, "Aindil velayadadu, aimbadil velayadu." That's what she exactly said. So when you're as young as that, and when you realize that they have the potential to be very creative, I think now that using technology, we can reach them to so many people, because there are so many forms of reaching it. So I think a good collaboration with people like them, who have people who can stand in front of the camera and behind the camera, that'll be a great collaboration for people like us.
The other thing I looked at, the platform I've been building all these years, is to encourage creativity. Second is, how do you keep people who are creative in the creative business? Because if they have to go out and make a living somewhere else, they're not going to continue to be creative, right? And people have to eat. They need their breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So some of the programs that the Little Theatre has created is like, now we are moved into the arts and healthcare business. So we have created India's first hospital clown troupe. So a lot of my actors are trained hospital clowns, and it's a trust. So my trust actually pay them to do an outreach work at the Children's Government Hospital, at the cancer research, different places. So these are actors who then get to earn outside of just acting, and we can help them continue with, between productions, between films, and so on.
Right.
I will add one more point here. It's not just creative economy that we are talking about. There is a lot of indirect opportunities being created here. So it is not just about you have to be creative to get into this industry, but you can also be good at programming. You can also be good at developing new technologies, because we are here combining art with technology. So there is always need for this technology and new innovation and everything. So I think people who are tech savvy, they definitely have a place here. They just have to understand how this works, and they have to tune themselves to adapt to this creative technology. That's it. So I think everybody has opportunity with the creative economy.
Right. Thanks, Bijoy. Let's take one more from the audience, and then.
Good afternoon to the panel members. Here. I am an engineering student from IIT Madras. My research interests lie in the area of R&D side of VFX, graphics, and animation, you can say. But with respect to the technical aspects that is happening in the film industry and VFX, I find very few technically sound improvements, and it is being happening currently. And the opportunities also are pretty available. It's much betterly available in other countries like US or Switzerland and stuff like that. So how do you see the scope of research and development side of film industry, especially in India as well as in Tamil Nadu? I think it is open to anyone.
Right. Samir, would you like to talk about it a little bit, and then maybe Bijoy, you can.
Right. Incidentally, the person at the helm at Dolby who reads, who drives research and development is an alumni of IIT Madras. And we are currently setting up a center for, excellence in Bangalore, where specifically we're looking at AI and, technologies that you just mentioned, where we're catching them young. To your point, we're trying to catch them young. So there is a lot of work that we are doing. Happy to sort of speak to you offline if there's anything specific that you have in mind.
If I may, the other thing that we've been doing with GUI is pretty much exactly what you're talking about. In fact, GUI is ranked number 4 on Google for animation, and there is a vast field that is left unexplored already in AI. And if you use platforms like GUI, and there are others as well, that can compare, create more content very, very quickly. I studied animation in NID 20 years ago, and I know how tremendous the ability to quickly storyboard, quickly prototype at like high resolutions before kind of going all the way in. That itself is incredibly valuable, and I'd encourage you to try these platforms. And it's so simple now that you don't need to actually even be in IIT or NID. You know, you can be a person with a lot of passion for the creative arts and engage with these platforms very readily without even knowing a line of code, which I think is a very special moment that we are in right now.
When it comes to research and development, companies like us, Phantom has a technology team, a very strong technology team, and we do a lot of research. And we have developed a lot of tools and softwares to support the cause, to come down with manpower consumption and increase the productivity. So I think there is always opportunity there, and we have also recently formed an AI team where we are trying to reduce wherever the manpower consumption is high, and we are trying to get more creative output and also increase the productivity. So I think there is a lot of opportunity for everyone, as I said. So this is not just about being creative, but being creative in technology.
Yeah, there's one
I have
question.
one question.
Yeah, sure.
Hi, I'm Varun. I'm the director of the Chennai Photo Biennale Foundation, and one of the focuses we have is working in the school system with education, with media arts particularly, because I find that there's a cultural resistance to creativity that has come with time, with us being focused on making more doctors, engineers, lawyers, and I think today it's the time when I really feel, and I think my organization feels, that the future of the workforce is creative, right? You have to be creative to solve problems, whether doesn't matter if you're not actually a creative person, but you need creativity embedded in you. And I think the future is my question is, well, how do we affect policy so that we can create a school system that's more interested in having creativity taught to their children? It doesn't matter whether we teach photography, but any form of creativity. Because, well, there are some schools without art classes at all. It's the private school system that can afford to have art classes, but the government school system doesn't. So that's one perspective. And second, I think, which is what the Creative Council of England has empowered, is to lobby people to the creative economy. And I think that's something that's lacking. There is one part of the creative economy which is very exciting to see in the first talk, which was all the creators. But there is another side of the creative economy who are not front-facing creators, who are people who are doing VFX, animation. We are now doing film processing and lab processing. There's a lot going on in the creative economy across the board. And at a state level, what can we put together to lobby youngsters and people into the creative economy? So I think that's my two phases of the question to anyone who'd like to take it.
Would you like to talk with Joy first?
Because we have an association right now for the creative people community named Vegas, Visual Effects Gaming and Animation Society. So we are working closely with the Tamil Nadu government on the policy framing and everything. So we have given our inputs on what is lagging, what is needed, and what support we want from the government. And the government is very keen and very sincerely putting their efforts, and that's the reason I am invited today here as well. So we are really looking forward to improve and increase the number of youngsters that are being observed into this industry, and government is very keen on creating a policy, and I've been told that we will very soon come up with a policy that will be dedicatedly created for AVGC. This is going to come from Tamil Nadu government, so thanks to our CM for all the efforts that he's putting on this.
Anybody else like to come in? I have a little bit of a British Council answer to that, but would you like to say something, or from a policy perspective, what do you think?
So it's interesting. I mean, I think just harking back to the previous panel as well, I feel that, okay, here's the thing. one of the biggest issues for our country, I think, is the fact that, A, we have such a vast cultural heritage, a large part of which is oral and transmitted orally. Most of it, especially if you look at the craft sector, disappearing by the minute. So what can we do? And I think quite a lot of that seems to rest on the arts and culture sector, which several of us have brought up is not the most funded, not the most supported, and in fact not the most desired sector when you think of does your child need to be a doctor, lawyer, or artist? You're most likely going to push them into the former. So I think there's several things that the government can do and is doing. One of the most important, I would say, is to start partnering with the cultural sector and cultural leaders to kind of form the frameworks that are required to address this in a more nuanced and granular way. I think that documentation is critical and can actually be executed via existing museums, via existing institutions, like that young gentleman there who is doing R&D within IIT. NID itself has a large research back end, but lots of schools themselves can be involved in documenting and participating in kind of the built and oral heritage that they live within. So I think there's just, it almost is overwhelming what can happen. But I'll bring it back to this, because I sit right at the cusp of all of this, is that we are in a very unique moment in time. We can go to amazing places using technologies that various panel members here represent. AI itself has, I would say, tremendous value for good and evil. I really hope that we can collectively, and I think that's what it comes to. It comes to us collectively as humans harnessing this technology before it harnesses us, and that cannot happen without proper policies in place.
Yeah, thanks, Archana. Would you like to come in, or from a policy perspective, since the question was just...
Not really from the policy perspective, but as always, this representation would come from the industry. We would like the people in charge to talk to as many people as possible in the industry, because it is so diverse. It's not the same, because there are so many creative arts, as I told you. So I think opinions from all of them and from those leaders or from those veterans would definitely help in designing something that would suit all, because there's nothing, there's no one size that would suit all, but still, it can be tailor-made, I guess, for the industry as a whole.
Right. Thanks, Mala. From a sort of British Council UK perspective, and Alison, please free to jump in if you think I'm missing something, but there are a couple of things that we're doing, especially with Tamil Nadu. I think this is the first step, so we've sort of partnered with the government on a couple of policy roundtables. We are specifically looking at arts policy, we're looking at music policy to a large extent, for which we're collaborating with Mr. Rahman's KM Music Conservatory. By way of this creative economy roundtable, we're also looking at several sectors, not just AVGC, but also looking at multiple wider sectors. And of course, Tamil Nadu is a huge retail and manufacturing hub. So we're sort of looking at how we can consider mapping some of these. And we have some terrific experience of doing this earlier in the state of West Bengal, where we, and I think some of these reports are also available in your bags, but also I think the QR codes are available at the UK Pavilion. You can drop in and sort of scan those codes. The report is very interesting because it also looks at not just the festival. And somebody was pointing out yesterday, I think Debbie was saying this morning that while a certain group of people get economic benefit from it, there's a large group that is also left behind. So I think we're looking very carefully at those questions. And also the British Council was recently involved during India's presidency of the G20 for both education and culture. And these are very important questions that came up then as well. So we are looking from a central government perspective, looking at making a dent in creative economy policy, because India does not have one single policy. And like you said, one size may not fit all, but I think it's a really good starting point. And especially with states, with some of the states, and wearing my South India hat, I think we're definitely looking at working with this government. And Mr. Anand is here, and Kuhan is here, and Vishnu, of course. I think we've got some tremendous support even in putting this together. So hopefully we'll collaborate a little bit more to sort of, come up with something maybe a year from now. So watch this space, and it'll be wonderful to have, like you say, a consultative approach to be able to do this. So industry talking to policymakers and finally, coming up with something that will work for a majority of the people at least. So yeah. Right, I think we are kind of out of time. I just have one last question. I mean, you spoke about AI, good and evil, so couldn't resist asking each one of our panelists, I mean, what's your view? Because when we talk to academicians, we work so much, the British Council works a lot in education, and one of the things that comes up in education is, oh my God, is AI going to replace, universities or teachers or lecturers or whatever? So what do you think? I mean, of course, AI, we can obviously clearly see the benefit, but what do you think are some of the sort of pitfalls? And like Mala was saying, as long as you use technology to steer the sort of cultural conversation, that's fine, but let's not take it over. So really quick sort of, like rapid fire, like literally, 30 seconds from each one of you.
All right, just bring it back to Sriram's point in the previous panel. One of the biggest problems is differentiating between fact and fiction, and that is potentially the largest damage that AI can do, is that it can really make it possible for people to believe falsehoods, and governments and countries and the world can topple from that. So it requires a lot of creative people, both from the technology activism and art side, to come together and actually make it possible for people to know and understand this technology as it's developing so rapidly. So that's my two-bit.
Yeah. So when it comes to AI, it is nothing, challenging or nothing. It's not going to replace any creativity. When I started my career, when I was studying, one middle-aged man, came, who is running a photo studio or something. So he came with a very weird request. Like this happened before, like 24 years, I think. So he came with a very weird request, like saying, I want to select a photo and select his costume, and then there should be so many costumes here. If I select that, the costume should change. If I select this makeup should change, and I have to easily select this person's features and change it. So that's a very weird request. 23 years back, and we all literally made fun out of him, and he unfortunately he didn't join. But I see a very a creative person and an innovative person. Now if we recollect that, this is very much possible now. It has become very much possible, and it is more than 6 months back. What we thought is not possible is easily possible right now. People can change your face, people can change your attires. We can easily change who you are into Salman Khan or Tom Cruise or anyone. So I can easily change you into a robot as well. Just in a click of. So that is how fast AI is developing. So I think it is all about being creative and innovative, which no machine can replace. That is all coming from a human being, and that is like we people are making this happen. So I don't think any AI can replace a human mind's creativity. So I think we are all safe here.
Yeah, right, okay. Samir.
I mean, AI definitely can help you with creative thinking. That's the way I see it. It can't replace human intervention and human creative thinking process. For example, I want to, as a storyteller, I want to do a story on revenge, and I use AI as a tool to give me 4 or 5 different ideas. But, my original creative intent is something that is original to me. I can use inspiration. I can use, not referring to plagiarism there, AI as a tool to just aid your creative thinking process. We as humans are creative enough. AI should just help us think better. That's the way I see it.
Yeah. AI, as I said, not just AI, any technology. I think it has a boon and a bane. So we have to use it wisely. And as Archana also said, the truth takes time to reach people, but fake things or negativity reaches very fast, and it is impossible to almost even make people believe that that was fake. So that's how fast and dramatically it spreads. So any tool, any weapon, it's like a weapon, I would say, any technology. So as long as we use it wisely, yes. When television came, they said, oh, this is not going to work. And when OTT came, again, they've said, oh, it will not work. That's how Unreal Engine, there's one more thing. So AI, it goes on and on and on. We can't stop that. But we should teach people, guide people, and make sure that it is used for positive things and not negative things.
On that very happy and positive note, I mean, I think right from the village cooking, I think honesty and credibility, authenticity, that came out very strongly. But thank all the panelists from panel 1 and Ruchira, and thank all our panelists on this panel. Thank you all very much, and a big thank you to the audience who've stayed with us from start to finish. Thank you all very much, and we hope to continue on this journey with the government of Tamil Nadu and collaborate even more. So thank you to Tamil Nadu Guidance for partnering and collaborating with us, and a big thank you to KM Music Conservatory for standing shoulder to shoulder in our journey with the Creative Economy Roundtables and the reports. So if you don't have the report in your bag, then my colleague Paramita is here in the audience. She's our India lead for Creative Economy, so please do reach out to her and do visit our pavilion if you have a moment. And over to Rohan. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Big round of applause, everyone. It's amazing. We'll take a quick picture of this panel, and then I would like to
thank the British Council and the British Deputy High Commission for having us all on stage and giving us this platform to communicate what we wanted to. Thank you.
It's amazing. Always a pleasure. Yes, so we'll take a quick picture, and then we'd like to invite the rest of our panelists on stage as well. And then there's a lot of mementos to take home. Lots of information digitally, and share it with your friends via whatever's convenient for you. We know we're all on our mobile phones.
அடுத்த கட்ட நகர்வு என்ன பண்ணலான்றதையும் பேசியிருக்கோம். மிக சிறப்பான முறையில் அங்கேருந்து எக்கனாமிக் அஃபேர்ஸ்லேருந்து அவங்க டிபார்ட்மெண்ட் முக்கிய அதிகாரிகளும் வந்திருக்காங்க. அதே போல் நம்ம ஒரு கவர்னரே இங்கே வந்திருக்காங்க பார்த்துருக்கோம். ஸோ அதாவது அவங்களுக்கு ஒரு சீஃப் மினிஸ்டர் மாதிரி அவங்களும் இங்கே வந்திருக்காங்க. எனவே இவர்கள் எல்லோரும் வந்து கலந்து கொண்டு மிக சிறப்பாக முறையில் தமிழகத்தின் இந்த வளர்ச்சியை குறித்தும் தமிழக முதல்வர் அவர்களும் முதலமைச்சர் அவர்களும் இந்த பெண்களுக்கான அந்த திட்டங்களை குறித்தும் மிக பெருமையாக பேசுவார்கள். அவர்களுக்கு இப்படியெல்லாம் நீங்கள் பண்ணுறது தான் எங்களுக்கு ரொம்ப ஏதுவாக இருக்குது. ஏன்னா எங்கள் ப்ராடக்ட்ஸை வந்து இங்கே செய்யும்போது இப்படி இங்கே வந்து இத்தனை பெண்கள் அதில் வந்து இருக்காங்க அந்த மேனுஃபேக்சரிங்கில் இருக்காங்க. அது வந்து இந்த மாதிரி ஒரு இடத்துல, அதாவது ஒரு நகரத்தில் இல்லாமல் ஒரு ரொம்ப பின்தங்கிய பகுதியில் அந்த இடத்துல இருக்க நடுத்தர வர்க்க மக்களுக்கு அது உதவுது. நாங்கள் ஒரு மேனுஃபேக்சரிங் செய்யும்போது அந்த இடத்துல இருக்கிற ஒரு லோக்கல் எக்கானமிக்கே ஸ்ட்ரென்த்தாக இருக்குது அப்படின்றதெல்லாம் நாங்கள் வெளில போய் சொல்லும்போது இந்த ப்ராடக்ட் இன்னும் ஈஸியாக விற்குது. ஸோ ஏன்னா உலகளவில் மக்களோட எண்ண ஓட்டங்கள்லாம் என்னென்னா கொஞ்சம் முடியாதவர்களுக்கு நம்ம உதவணும். நம்ம ஒரு ப்ராடக்ட் வாங்கும்போது கூட அது யாருக்காவது ஒரு நல்லது நடக்கணும் அப்படின்றதுல நிறையா இப்போது பரவலாக அப்படி ஒரு முக்கியத்துவம் வந்துட்டு இருக்கு. அதனால தான் இப்போது நம்ம வந்து தலைவரோட அந்த பரவலாக்கப்பட்ட வளர்ச்சி வந்து மிகப்பெரிய ஒரு வரவேற்பை பெறுறது உலக நாடுகளும் சரி, எல்லா முதலீட்டாளர்கள் மத்தியிலும் தமிழக மக்களிடையுமே ஒரு வரவேற்பு.
ஜப்பான் அவர் விசிட் பண்ணதுக்கப்புறம் நடக்கக்கூடிய ஒவ்வொரு செக்டருமே பெரிய ரெஸ்பான்ஸ்.
அதே மாதிரி அவங்க சொல்கிறது எல்லாமே வந்து இந்தியாவில் 12 JIT அந்த ஜாப்பனீஸ் கிளஸ்டர்லாம் இருக்குது. அதில் வந்து தமிழகத்தில் இருக்கிற 3 கிளஸ்டர் வந்து அப்படியே எங்கள் வீட்டிலே இருக்கிற மாதிரி இருக்குது. அதே மாதிரி எங்கள் பிள்ளைகளுக்கெல்லாம் ரொம்ப ஒரு ஏதுவான சூழல். இங்கே வந்து ஒருத்தர் கூட சொன்னார், நான் என் பிள்ளை வந்து பள்ளிக்கு போகிறேன். பள்ளிக்கு போகும்போது அவள் காலையில் எழுந்தால் எப்போ எந்த நேரத்துக்கு போகிறா, எப்போ வரான்றலாம் நான் கவலையே பட தேவையில்ல. அவளாக நடந்து போகிறா பள்ளிக்கு, அவளா வரா. இப்படிப்பட்ட ஒரு சூழல் வந்து வளர்ந்த நாடுகள்லேயே, மிகப்பெரிய வளர்ந்த நாடுகள்லேயே கூட இல்லை. ஜாக்கிரதையாக பார்க்கணும். ஆனால் தமிழகத்தில் சென்னை போன்ற பெருநகரங்களில் கூட இப்படி அற்புதமான ஒரு சூழல், பெண்களுக்கு மிக சேஃபான ஒரு சிட்டி, இதெல்லாம் வந்து தமிழகத்தில் தான் கிடைக்குது. அது எங்களுக்கு பெருமை.
என்ன செக்டார்
எல்லாம் இந்த டீட்டெயிலாக நான் கொடுக்கக்கூடாது. முதலமைச்சர் அவர்கள் இன்னைக்கு மாலை 4:30 மணி அளவில் நடக்க போகும் இந்த ஃபங்க்ஷனில் அவர் பேசுவார். நிச்சயமாக அதில் வந்து முழுமையான டீட்டெயில்ஸ் சரிங்களா? தேங்க்ஸ்.
Global Investors Meetல நேத்தி Honorable Chief Minister ஒரு முக்கியமான ஸ்டேட்மெண்ட் ரிலீஸ் பண்ணாங்க. அதில் வந்து ஒரு தமிழ்நாடு வந்து ஒரு 1 trillion எக்கானமி அதுக்கு வந்து மூவ் பண்ணணும். ஸோ 1 trillion எக்கானமி அப்படின்னு போகும்போது சஸ்டைனபிள் ஃபியூச்சர், அதாவது கிளைமேட் ரெசிலியன்ஸ் இருந்தால் தான் இண்டஸ்ட்ரியல் டெவலப்மெண்ட் ரொம்ப நல்லாவே பண்ண முடியும். அதுக்காக ஒரு 8 ஸ்ட்ராட்டஜிஸ் நம்ம ரெடி பண்ணியிருக்கோம். அந்த ஸ்ட்ராட்டஜிஸ் பொறுத்த வரைக்கும் நீங்கள் பார்த்துருப்பீங்க, மேக்ஸிமம் இன்வெஸ்ட்மெண்ட் இப்போ வந்து சஸ்டைனபிள் ஃபியூச்சருக்காக தான் வருது. ஃபார் எக்ஸாம்பிள் எலக்ட்ரானிக் வெஹிக்கிள்ஸ் மேனுஃபேக்சரிங்கில் தமிழ்நாடு வந்து ஒரு லீடராகவே வந்திருக்கு. ஸோ EV மேனுஃபேக்சரிங், சோலார் பவர் மேனுஃபேக்சரிங் அண்ட் நியூ டெக்னாலஜிஸ் இண்டஸ்ட்ரீஸ்க்காக ஜீரோ லிக்விட் டிஸ்சார்ஜ் ZLD அப்படின்னு நம்ம அந்த டெக்னாலஜிஸ் சொல்கிறோம். அது மட்டும் இல்லை, மேக்ஸிமம் வந்து எமிஷன்ஸ் கட் பண்ணுறதுக்கு டெக்னாலஜிஸும் அண்ட் க்ரீன் இனிஷியேட்டிவ்ஸ், அதாவது இண்டஸ்ட்ரீஸ் க்ரீன் பண்ணுறதுக்கு அதை பற்றி இன்னைக்கு பேனல் டிஸ்கஷன் நடந்தது. இன்னொரு முக்கியமான விஷயம் என்னன்னா, தமிழ்நாடு ஸ்டேட் தான் ஃபர்ஸ்ட் ஸ்டேட் இன் இந்தியா. அதில் வந்து ஒரு கிளைமேட் கம்பெனி நம்ம செட்டப் பண்ணியிருக்கோம். தமிழ்நாடு கிரீன் கிளைமேட் கம்பெனினா இந்தியாவிலேயே ஒரு ஃபர்ஸ்ட் கம்பெனி கிளைமேட்காக ஆனரபிள் சீஃப் மினிஸ்டரோட லீடர்ஷிப்பில் நம்ம செட் பண்ணியிருக்கோம். அந்த கம்பெனிக்கு கீழே 4 முக்கியமான மிஷன்ஸ் நம்ம லான்ச் பண்ணியிருக்கோம். கிரீன் தமிழ்நாடு மிஷன், கிளைமேட் சேஞ்ச் மிஷன் அண்ட் சதுப்பு நிலங்கள், அதுக்காக ஒரு மிஷன். இப்போ 4வது மிஷன் வந்து இப்போ ரெடி ஆயிட்டு இருக்கு. ஸோ இதெல்லாம் சேர்த்து இன்னைக்கு டிஸ்கஷனில் தமிழ்நாடுலேருந்து மட்டும் இல்லை, டிஃப்ரெண்ட் ஸ்டேட்ஸ்லேருந்து கூட நிறையா பேனலிஸ்ட் வந்து அவங்களுடைய பெஸ்ட் ப்ராக்டிசஸ் பற்றி சொல்லியிருக்காங்க. அண்ட் வி ஆர் வெரி கான்ஃபிடென்ட் இந்த குளோபல் இன்வெஸ்ட்மெண்ட் மீட்டில் 2024ல் we will be definitely paving the way for a greener future. And தமிழ்நாடு வந்து ஒரு லீடராகவே வரதுக்கு ஒரு கண்டிப்பாக ஒரு நல்ல வாய்ப்பு.
இப்போ பல நாடுகள்லேருந்து இன்வெஸ்ட்மெண்ட்ஸ் உள்ளே வருது. இன்வெஸ்ட்மெண்ட்ஸ் உள்ளே வரப்போ 2 விஷயங்களை இன்வெஸ்ட்மெண்ட்டை பண்ணுறவங்க பார்க்குறது. ஒன்று இங்கே காலநிலை மாற்றங்கள் எப்படி இருக்குது, அப்பப்போ மழை பெஞ்சு தண்ணி தேங்குறது, இந்த மாதிரியான பிரச்சனைகள்லாம் இல்லாமல் இருக்குமா? இன்னொன்று நம்மளுக்கு நல்ல ஸ்கில்டு லேபர்ஸ் கிடைப்பாங்களா? இப்போ இதை பார்த்து தான் உள்ளே வராங்க. இப்போ காலநிலை மாற்றம் எந்த அளவுக்கு இன்னும் டெவலப் பண்ண வேண்டிய தேவை இருக்குது, நமக்கு எத்தனை % தேவை இருக்குது நமக்கு?
ஓகே, ஸோ அதாவது இப்போ நீங்கள் கேள்விக்கு வந்து என்ன பதில் சொல்லணும்னா, பேசிக்லி அதாவது ஒவ்வொரு கிளைமேட் ஆக்ஷன் வந்து சயின்ஸில் வந்து வரணும், சயின்ஸ்லேருந்து வரணும், டேட்டாலேருந்து வரணும். ஸோ தமிழ்நாடுல ஒரு கிளைமேட் ஸ்டுடியோ அண்ணா யூனிவர்சிட்டியில் செட்டப் பண்ணியிருக்கோம். இந்தியாவோட ஃபர்ஸ்ட் அண்ட் த ஓன்லி ஸ்டுடியோ. ஸோ அந்த ஸ்டுடியோலேருந்து 6 செக்டர்ஸ்க்கு அதாவது ரிசர்ச் பண்ணி டேட்டா நமக்கு கொடுத்துருக்காங்க. ஸோ நீங்கள் சொன்ன மாதிரி மழை எங்கே வந்து ஜாஸ்தி பேருக்கு சான்சஸ் இருக்குது, அதுக்கு ஒரு மாடலிங் பண்ணணும். அதுக்கு பேர் வந்து கிளைமேட் மாடலிங். ஸோ அதாவது ஒரு டெக்கடல் கிளைமேட் மாடலிங் அப்படின்னு நம்ம சொல்கிறோம். ஸோ டெக்கடல் கிளைமேட் மாடலிங்னா 10 இயர்ஸ்க்கு வந்து ஒரு மாடலிங் பண்ணுவாங்க. அந்த மாடலிங் இப்போ ரெடி ஆயிடுச்சு. ஸோ அக்ரிகல்ச்சர் பொறுத்த வரைக்கும், ஹார்டிகல்ச்சர் பொறுத்த வரைக்கும், வாட்டர் ரிசோர்ஸஸ் பொறுத்த வரைக்கும் என்ன மாதிரி டிஸ்ட்ரிக்ட்ஸில் எந்த இயரில் மழையும் அப்புறமா ட்ரவுட்டும் வருதுக்கு சான்சஸ் இருக்குன்னா அது ஒரு மாடல் ரெடி பண்ணிருக்கோம்.
இப்போ இந்த இன்னமும் இதை டெவலப் பண்ணுறதுக்கான % எவ்வளோ இருக்குதுன்னு கேட்குறேன். அதாவது கிளைமேட் சேஞ்ச் இன்னமும் நம்ம க்ரோ த்ரூ பண்ணி அதற்கான திட்டமிடலாம் சரி செய்தால் இன்னமும் நமக்கு எத்தனை கோடி ரூபாய் இன்வெஸ்ட்மெண்ட்ஸ் இங்கே வராத நிறைய கம்பெனிஸ் உள்ளே வருவாங்க. இன்னும் எத்தனை % நம்ம அதை மேம்படுத்த வேண்டிய தேவை இருக்குன்னு கேட்குறேன்.
ஓகே, ஸோ பேசிக்கலி
50% நம்ம இன்னும் மேம்படுத்தினா இன்னமும் பல ஆயிரம் கோடி வரும் கேட்குறேன்.
எஸ், ஸோ இப்போ நம்ம என்ன பண்ணியிருக்கோம்னா, அதாவது அந்த அசஸ்மெண்ட் நீங்கள் சொன்ன மாதிரி முதல்ல நம்ம எவ்வளோ எமிஷன்ஸ் நம்ம பண்ணுறோம் ஸ்டேட் பொறுத்த வரைக்கும், க்ரீன் ஹவுசஸ்ன்னு சொல்கிறோம் இல்லையா? ஸோ அந்த க்ரீன் ஹவுசஸ் கேஸோட எவ்வளோ எமிஷன்ஸ் இருக்குன்னா முதல்ல அது வந்து நமக்கு தெரியணும். அந்த க்ரீன் ஹவுஸ் கேஸ் எமிஷன் நமக்கு வந்து தெரிஞ்சதுன்னா அதுக்கப்புறமா தான் ஒவ்வொரு செக்டர் எடுத்துட்டு எத்தனை வருஷமா நம்ம அதை டீகார்பனைஸ் பண்ண முடியும். அதான் நீங்க சொல்றீங்க. ஸோ தமிழ்நாடு பொறுத்த வரைக்கும் க்ரீன் ஹவுஸ் கேஸ் இன்வென்ட்ரி நாங்கள் வந்து ஸ்டடி முடிச்சிட்டோம். அந்த ஸ்டடி ஒரு 2 monthsக்குள்ள நாங்கள் ரிலீஸ் பண்ண போகிறோம். ஸோ அது வந்து டிரான்ஸ்போர்ட் செக்டருக்கும் எனர்ஜி செக்டருக்கும் இந்த மாதிரி முக்கியமான அக்ரிகல்ச்சர் செக்டருக்கும் ஒரு 6 செக்டர்ஸ்க்கு நம்ம எடுத்துருக்கோம். அந்த ஒவ்வொரு செக்டர் எடுத்துட்டு அதில் வந்து 30 years ஆகுமா 40 years ஆகுமா அப்படி நான் பண்ணணும். ஆனால் இப்போ நீங்கள் பார்த்தீங்கன்னா நம்ம ஆனரபிள் சீஃப் மினிஸ்டர் கிளைமேட் சமிட்டில் 2 yearsக்கு முன்னாடி அவங்க ஏற்கனவே அனௌன்ஸ் பண்ணியிருக்காங்க. இந்தியா வந்து கமிட் பண்ணியிருக்கேன் 2070 2070ல் நாங்கள் வந்து கார்பன் நியூட்ரல் அச்சீவ் பண்ணுறதுக்கு முயற்சி பண்ணுறோம். கண்டிப்பாக தமிழ்நாடு 2070க்கு முன்னாடி நெட் ஜீரோ அச்சீவ் பண்ண முடியும், நமக்கு நம்பிக்கை இருக்கு.
இப்போ என்ன ஒரு விமர்சனம் வைக்கிறாங்கன்னா, அம்பத்தூர் தொழிற்பேட்டையை கூட நம்மளால காப்பாற்ற முடியல, ஒரு வாரம் தண்ணிக்குள்ள கிடக்கு. இதுக்கிடையில நம்ம முதலீட்டாளர்களை சர்வதேச நாடுகளுக்கு போய் அழைத்து வர்றதுனால என்ன பலன்? அவங்க இதெல்லாம் பார்ப்பாங்க, அதையும் மீறி எப்படி வந்து தொழில் தொடங்குவாங்க அப்படின்னு ஒரு விமர்சனம்.
கண்டிப்பா இப்போ இந்த வருஷம் இந்த மழைனால நமக்கு வந்து ஒரு என்ன சொல்றது ஒரு எக்ஸ்பீரியன்ஸ் இருக்குது. இது கண்டிப்பா நம்ம மாடலிங்ல கொண்டு வந்துட்டு இந்த மாதிரி ஒரு அம்பத்தூர் இண்டஸ்ட்ரியல் எஸ்டேட்டோ மற்ற இண்டஸ்ட்ரியல் எஸ்டேட்டோ எப்படி ஃபார்ட்டிஃபை பண்றது, கிளைமேட் ரெசிலியன்ட் எப்படி பண்றது, அதாவது ஒரு 1 meter தண்ணி நமக்கு வந்தா கூட அதெல்லாம் எப்படி வந்து காப்பாத்துறதுன்னா நம்ம வந்து ஸ்ட்ராட்டஜில கண்டிப்பாவே இன்க்ளூட் பண்ண வேண்டியது.
ஆனால் இப்போ ஜப்பான்லாம் வந்து இயற்கை பேரிடரை நிறையா சந்திக்கிற மாநிலம் அந்த பகுதியாக இருக்குது மேடம். அவங்ககிட்டேருந்து நம்ம ஏதாவது பேரிடர் மேலாண்மை தொடர்பாக ஆலோசிச்சிருக்கோமா மேடம்? அதுக்கான வாய்ப்புகள் எதிர்காலத்தில் இருக்கா?
எஸ், கண்டிப்பாக. ஜப்பான் இருந்தாலும் சரி, ஆஸ்திரேலியா ஆர் யுனைடெட் கிங்டம் இருந்தாலும் சரி, நம்ம வந்து இப்போ ஃபார் எக்ஸாம்பிள் இன்னைக்கு மத்தியானமா 2:30 யுனைடெட் கிங்டமோட நாங்கள் வந்து ஒரு MOU எக்ஸ்சேஞ்ச் பண்ணுறோம். அதில் வந்து அவங்க பேட்டரி வேஸ்ட்டும் கார்பன் வேஸ்ட்டும் கேஸ் ஹவுஸ் கிரீன் கேஸ் ஹவுஸ் இன்வென்ட்ரி அதை எப்படி ரெடி பண்ணுறது, அவங்களோட எக்ஸ்பீரியன்ஸ் வந்து அங்கிலிருந்து லேர்ன் பண்ணுறதுக்கு ஒரு MOU இன்னைக்கு சைன் பண்ண போகிறோம். ஸோ இது மாதிரி முயற்சிகள் பண்ணிட்டுருக்கோம். நிறையா கண்ட்ரீஸோட வந்து ஒரு MOU சைன் பண்ணிட்டு அவங்களோட எக்ஸ்பீரியன்ஸ்லேருந்து லேர்ன் பண்ணுறதுக்கு ஒர்க் நடந்துட்டுருக்கு.
வெஹிக்கிள்ஸோட சார்ஜஸ்லாம் இந்த ஸ்டார்ட் அப்பில் நிறைய வந்திருக்கு. இந்தியா இன்னும் தமிழ்நாடு எத்தனை ஆண்டுகளுக்குள்ளாக முற்றிலுமா அந்த வெஹிக்கிள்ஸ்குள்ள கண்ட்ரோலுக்குள்ளே வரும்? இன்னும் 5 years or 10 yearsக்குள்ள வரதுக்கான வாய்ப்புகள் இருக்குங்களா, இல்லை எப்படி இருக்குது இதை ஒட்டுமொத்தமாக பார்க்கும்போது?
இப்போ நீங்கள் பார்க்கும்போது இன்னைக்கு ப்ரெசன்டேஷனில் அதுதான் எல்லாரும் நாங்கள் வந்து காட்டணும். தமிழ்நாடு பொறுத்த வரைக்கும் வேஸ்ட் மேனேஜ் பண்ணுறதுக்கு யூனோ 6 ஃபெசிலிட்டிஸ் நம்ம செட்டப் பண்ணியிருக்கோம். நம்ம தான் தமிழ்நாடுல ஒரு முன்னோடியாக இந்த ஸ்கீம்ஸில் செட்டப் பண்ணியிருக்கோம். ஸோ நம்ம என்ன பார்க்குறோன்னா, இப்போ நீங்கள் வந்து ஒரு செல்ஃபோன் இருக்குது, லேப்டாப் இருக்குது, அதுலேருந்து கூட இப்போ நம்ம இதை வேஸ்ட்டாகவே நம்ம போடும்போதே யாருக்கும் தெரியாது இதிலிருந்தே நிறைய மெட்டீரியல்ஸ் எடுக்கலாம். இப்போ உங்களுக்கு தெரியுமா, நம்ம செல்ஃபோன் வந்து ஒரு வேஸ்ட்டாக போயிடுச்சுன்னா இதில் வந்து சில்வர் இருக்குது, காப்பர் இருக்குது, கோல்டு இருக்குது. ஸோ இந்த மாதிரி ஃபெசிலிட்டிஸ் செட்டப் பண்ணுறதுக்கு பேட்டரி நீங்கள் சொன்னீங்க, லித்தியம் பேட்டரிஸ் இருக்குது, அதுலேருந்து கூட மெட்டீரியல்ஸ் எடுக்கிறதுக்கு வாய்ப்பு இருக்குது. ஆனால் ஸ்டேட் ஆஃப் தி ஆர்ட் ஃபெசிலிட்டிஸ் செட்டப் பண்ண வேண்டி இருக்கும். 6 ஃபெசிலிட்டிஸ் தமிழ்நாடுல ஏற்கனவே செட்டப் பண்ணியிருக்கோம், இன்னும் செட்டப் பண்ணுறதுக்கு முயற்சி பண்ணிட்டு இருக்கோம்.
அந்த மாதிரியான நிறுவனங்கள் யாராவது உள்ள வந்திருக்காங்களா? இப்போ நம்ம இந்த மாதிரியான தொழில்களை செய்யறதுக்கான நிறுவனங்கள் யாராவது உள்ள வந்திருக்காங்க? ஏன்னா நம்ம இப்போ சீன பொம்மைகள் அதெல்லாம் அதிகரிச்சுக்கிட்டே இருக்குது. பிளாஸ்டிக் பொம்மைகள், இந்த கார்ஸ், டாய்ஸ் எல்லாம் அதிகமாகிட்டு இருக்கு. அதை திரும்ப ரீயூஸ் பண்ணுறதுக்கான நிறுவனங்கள் ஏதாவது உள்ள இந்த குளோபல் இன்வெஸ்ட்மெண்ட் மீட்டில் உள்ள வந்திருக்காங்களா?
குளோபல் இன்வெஸ்ட்மெண்ட் மீட்ல நம்ம ஐடியாஸ் எக்ஸ்சேஞ்ச் பண்ணியிருக்கோம். இப்போ நீங்க இன்னைக்கு பார்த்துருப்பீங்கன்னா நம்மளோட செஷன்ல சிங்கப்பூர் பேஸ்டு கம்பெனி தான் இந்த வேஸ்ட் ஃபெசிலிட்டி, மொபைல் ஃபோன்ஸும் அப்புறமா உங்க மவுஸ் அண்ட் லேப்டாப்ஸும் ரீசைக்கிள் பண்ணுறதுக்கு ஃபெசிலிட்டி சிங்கப்பூர் பேஸ்ட் கம்பெனி செட்டப் பண்ணியிருக்காங்க. அது மட்டும் இல்லை, இப்போ நீங்கள் வந்து கார்னியர், நம்ம எல்லாரும் தெரியும், கார்னியர் பிராண்டு தெரியும், மணலியில் அவங்க வந்து ஒரு பெரிய ஃபெசிலிட்டி செட்டப் பண்ணிட்டு பாட்டில்ஸ் வந்து இந்த பிளாஸ்டிக் பாட்டில்ஸ் ரீசைக்கிள் பண்ணி அதே பாட்டில்ல இருந்தே வர்ஜின் பிளாஸ்டிக் யூஸ் பண்ணாம ரீசைக்கிள் பிளாஸ்டிக்ல இருந்து ஷாம்பூ பாட்டில்ஸ் அந்த மாதிரி ரெடி பண்ணுறதுக்கு ஒரு பிளான்ட் வந்து ஓடிட்டு இருக்கு, ரெடி பண்ணிட்டு இருக்காங்க. ஸோ அதே மாதிரி நிறைய கம்பெனிஸ் வந்து வந்துட்டு இருக்காங்க. பிகாஸ் இப்போ வந்து ஒரு புது ரூல் வந்திருக்கு, தட் இஸ் கால்ட் as எக்ஸ்டெண்டட் ப்ரொடியூசர் ரெஸ்பான்சிபிலிட்டி. அதாவது நான் வந்து இப்போ பிளாஸ்டிக் ப்ரொடியூஸ் பண்ணுறேன்னா, ஒரு 100 பாட்டில் ப்ரொடியூஸ் பண்ணுறேன்னா 100 பாட்டில் வந்து நான் கலெக்ட் பண்ணணும், கலெக்ட் பண்ணி அது ரீசைக்கிள் பண்ணணும். அதுக்கு பேர் வந்து ப்ரொடியூசர் ரெஸ்பான்சிபிலிட்டி. ஸோ அதில் வந்து தமிழ்நாடு பொறுத்த வரைக்கும் கிட்டத்தட்ட ஒரு 100 பேர் நாங்கள் ரெஜிஸ்டர் பண்ணியிருக்கோம். அண்ட் அவர் ஐடியா இஸ் டு do a universal coverage. ஸோ நீங்கள் ப்ரொடியூஸ் பண்ணுறீங்கன்னா நீங்கள் வந்து த்ரோ பண்ண முடியாது, கண்டிப்பாக கலெக்ட் பண்ணி ரீசைக்கிள் பண்ணி தான் ஆகணும்.
இங்கே கொடுக்கக்கூடிய பேக்ஸ் எல்லாம் அந்த ஒயிட் கலர் பேக் கொடுக்குறாங்க, நம்ம அந்த மஞ்சள் பையை கொடுத்துருந்தா நல்லா இருந்திருக்குமே, எதனால அது மஞ்சள் பைக்கு பதில் இந்த ஒயிட் கலர் பேக் கொடுக்குறோம்?
That is a decision of the organizing committee.
நம்ம மேற்கொள்ளக்கூடிய நடவடிக்கைகளுக்கு மற்ற மாநிலங்கள், இந்திய அளவில் மத்திய நிறுவனங்கள் அந்த காலநிலை மாற்றத்தை கையாளுவதற்கு உதவிகள் எந்த அளவுக்கு நமக்கு வழங்குறாங்க?
ஸோ அதாவது நம்ம ஸ்டேட்ல இருந்து 3 இனிஷியேட்டிவ்ஸ் கவர்மெண்ட் ஆஃப் இந்தியா செலக்ட் பண்ணி இப்போ கிளைமேட் கான்ஃபரன்ஸ் ஆஃப் பார்ட்டிஸ் இருக்கும் இல்லையா, COP28 துபாய் அங்கே வந்து நடந்தது லாஸ்ட் மந்த். ஸோ மஞ்சப்பையும் ஈகோ வாரியர்ஸும் பிளாஸ்டிக் இனிஷியேட்டிவ்ஸும் கவர்மெண்ட் ஆஃப் இந்தியாவில் நம்மளோட ஸ்டேட்டில் செலக்ட் பண்ணி ஆஸ் அ பெஸ்ட் ப்ராக்டிஸ் கான்ஃபரன்ஸ் ஆஃப் பார்ட்டிஸில் ஆன் பிஹாஃப் ஆஃப் இந்தியா நாங்கள் வந்து ப்ரெசென்ட் பண்ணோம்.
ஆனால் அதே போல் மரம் வளர்ப்பு வந்து முக்கியமானதாக இருக்குது இந்த காலநிலை மாற்றத்தை கையாள. எந்த மாதிரி மரங்கள் மேடம் வளர்க்கணும்? மரம் வளர்ப்புனா எந்த மரம் வேணாலும் வளர்க்கலாமா, இல்லை அந்த மண்ணுக்கு ஏற்ற மரம்னு சொல்கிறாங்களே மேடம், அந்த மரங்கள் தான் வந்து அதை பலன் தருமா? அந்த இதில்
நாங்கள் வந்து அதாவது எந்த மாதிரி இன்வேசிவ் ஸ்பீஷீஸும் எக்ஸாட்டிக் யூஸ் பண்ணக்கூடாது அப்படின்னு நம்ம வந்து ஒரு இஷ்யூ பண்ணியிருக்கோம், கவர்மெண்ட் ஆர்டர் இஷ்யூ பண்ணியிருக்கோம். நாட்டு மரங்கள் தான் இஷ்யூ பண்ணணும். அந்த சர்க்குலர் எல்லா டிஎஃப்ஓஸ்க்கும் கொடுத்துருக்கோம். ஸோ அதாவது இங்கே இருக்கிறது டால் சீட்லிங்ஸும் கிளைமேட்டுக்கு வந்து ஒரு ரெசிலியன்ட் அந்த மாதிரி சீட்லிங்ஸும் பண்ணுறதுக்கு நாங்கள் முயற்சி எடுக்கிறோம். தேங்க்யூ ஸோ மச். தேங்க்யூ.
உலக முதலீட்டாளர்கள் மாநாட்டின் 2வது நாள் சிறப்பாக செயல்பட்டு வந்து கொண்டிருக்கிறது. இதில் நம்முடைய சுப்ரியா சாஹூ அவர்கள் இருக்கிறார்கள், அவரிடம் கேட்கலாம். மேம் வணக்கம். இந்த உலக முதலீட்டாளர்கள் மாநாட்டை பொறுத்த வரைக்கும் பல்வேறு அரங்குகள் செயல்பட்டு இருக்கு. காலநிலை சார்ந்த ஒரு இப்போ செஷன் கூட நடந்தது, அதில் நீங்கள் பேசிட்டு வந்திருக்கீங்க. என்னென்ன விஷயங்கள் இந்த முதலீட்டாளர்கள் மாநாட்டில் நம்ம முன்னெடுத்துட்டு இருக்கோம், அதை பற்றி சொல்லுங்கள்.
ஸோ அதாவது இந்த மாநாட்டில் வந்து தமிழ்நாடு 1 ட்ரில்லியன் எக்கானமி அதுக்கு வந்து கொண்டு போகணும் அப்படின்னா நம்ம வந்து ஆனரபிள் சீஃப் மினிஸ்டர் நமக்கு ஒரு என்ன சொல்கிறது ஒரு டார்கெட் கொடுத்துருக்காங்க. ஸோ அப்படி இருக்கும்போது இண்டஸ்ட்ரியல் க்ரோத் டெவலப்மெண்ட் வந்து சஸ்டைனபிளாக இருக்கணும், கிளைமேட்டுக்கு ஃப்ரெண்ட்லியாக இருக்கணும். அதை பற்றி வந்து நாங்கள் நிறையா முயற்சி இப்போ எடுத்திருக்கோம். இன்றைக்கி இந்த டிஸ்கஷனில் வந்து எந்த மாதிரி நியூ டெக்னாலஜிஸ் கொண்டு வந்துடலாம், ஸோ தட் நம்ம இந்த பொல்யூஷன் கண்ட்ரோல் பண்ணுறதுக்கு வந்து ஒரு நியூ டெக்னாலஜிஸ் நமக்கு உதவியாக இருக்கும், அந்த மாதிரி ஒரு டிஸ்கஷன் நடந்தது. அது மட்டும் இல்லை, அவங்களுடைய வாட்டர் யூட்டிலைசேஷனும் எனர்ஜி கன்சம்ஷனும் அவங்களுடைய வேஸ்ட் மேனேஜ்மெண்ட்டும் அதை எப்படி மேனேஜ் பண்ணுறதுக்கு வந்து ஒரு ஸ்டெப்ஸ் எடுக்கணும். ஸோ தட் இண்டஸ்ட்ரீஸ் வந்து க்ரீனாக இருக்கணும், சஸ்டைனபிளாக இருக்கணும். அந்த மாதிரி டிஸ்கஷன்ஸ் இன்னைக்கு நடந்தது.
அதே மாதிரி குறிப்பாக ஓவராலாக ரெனியூவபிள் எனர்ஜியாக மாற்றுறதுக்கான நடவடிக்கை எடுக்கணும்னு சொல்லியிருந்தாங்க. அப்போது நான் ரெனியூவபிள் எனர்ஜி தான் நம்ம அதிகமாக யூஸ் பண்ணிருக்கோம், அதாவது கோல்ஸ் அதிகமாக யூஸ் பண்ணிருக்கும் போது எந்த அளவுக்கு வாய்ப்புகள் இருக்குது? இப்போ இண்டஸ்ட்ரியில் பசுமை சார்ந்த இந்த எனர்ஜியை கொண்டு வரதுக்கு எவ்வளோ நாட்கள் ஆகும்? அதுக்கான ஆராய்ச்சிகள் நம்ம பண்ணிட்டோமா? அது எந்த அளவுக்கு இன்னும் செயல்படுத்துறதுக்கான நிலையில் இருக்குது?
தமிழ்நாடு பொறுத்த வரைக்கும் தமிழ்நாடு இஸ் ஆல்ரெடி அ லீடர். அதாவது ரெனியூவபிள் எனர்ஜி பொறுத்த வரைக்கும் கிட்டத்தட்ட 50% எனர்ஜி வந்து இன்ஸ்டால்டு கெப்பாசிட்டி 50%, 50% வந்து ரினியூவபிள் எனர்ஜியிலிருந்தே வருது. ஸோ நாங்கள் வந்து தமிழ்நாடுல ஒரு வி ஆர் அ லீடர் இன் ரினியூவபிள் எனர்ஜி. அது மட்டும் இல்லை, இப்போ இதில் கூட பார்க்கும்போது நமக்கு ஒரு ஜியோகிராஃபிக்கல் அட்வான்டேஜஸ் இருக்குது ஃபார் த விண்ட் எனர்ஜி as well as for the solar energy. ஸோ இப்போ நேற்று பார்த்துருப்பீங்க, ஆனரபிள் சீஃப் மினிஸ்டர் வந்து நிறையா நியூ ப்ராஜெக்ட்ஸ் லான்ச் பண்ணாங்க. ஃபார் எக்ஸாம்பிள் ஃபர்ஸ்ட் சோலார், அந்த மாதிரி பெரிய ஆர்கனைசேஷன்ஸ் இவி மேனுஃபேக்சரிங் அவங்கள வந்து தமிழ்நாடுல பேஸ் செட்டப் பண்ணுறாங்க. ஸோ அப்படி இருக்கும்போதே கண்டிப்பாக இந்த ரினியூவபிள் எனர்ஜிக்கு நம்ம ஸ்டேட்லேயே ஒரு பெரிய பூஸ்ட் கிடைக்கும்.
அதே மாதிரி இப்போ நம்ம ரெனியூவபிள் எனர்ஜி கொண்டு வர மாதிரி நிறைய பிளாஸ்டிக் பொருட்களும் நம்ம காலநிலை மாற்றத்தை பொறுத்தவரைக்கும் நிறைய பிரச்சனை இருந்திருக்கு, எவ்வளவோ உற்பத்திகள் இருக்குது. அப்போ அதெல்லாம் ரீசைக்கிள் பண்ணுறதுக்கான என்னென்ன ஆப்ஷன்ஸ்? இப்போ கூட சொன்னீங்க அந்த பிளாஸ்டிக் பாட்டில்ஸை நம்ம கலெக்ட் பண்ணுறதுக்கான ஒரு செஷனும் இருந்துட்டு இருக்கு. அது என்ன மாதிரி செயல்பட்டு இருக்கு? எந்த அளவுக்கு ஸ்டார்ட் அப் பண்ணியாச்சா? என்னென்ன மாதிரி நிறுவனங்கள் அதுக்கு ஈடுபட்டு இருக்காங்க?
ஸோ அதாவது ஒரு புது ரூல்ஸ் நம்ம கண்ட்ரியில் வந்திருக்கு. அது பேசிக்லி நீங்கள் வந்து எவ்வளோ பிளாஸ்டிக் ப்ரொடியூஸ் பண்ணுறீங்களோ அதே பிளாஸ்டிக் அந்த டோட்டல் வேஸ்ட் அந்த வெயிட்டில் நீங்கள் அவ்வளோ பிளாஸ்டிக் கலெக்ட் பண்ணிவிட்டு ரீசைக்கிளிங்க்கு அனுப்பணும். ஃபார் எக்ஸாம்பிள் இப்போ நீங்கள் ஒரு 100 டன் பிளாஸ்டிக் பாட்டில்ஸும் பேக்ஸும் என்ன இருந்தாலும் நீங்கள் ப்ரொடியூஸ் பண்ணுறீங்கன்னா 100 டன் நீங்கள் பிளாஸ்டிக் வந்து கலெக்ட் பண்ணி ரீசைக்கிளிங் பண்ணிவிட்டு நீங்கள் வந்து வெப்சைட்டில் அதுக்கு ஒரு சர்டிஃபிகேட் கொடுக்கணும். அந்த மாதிரி ஒரு முயற்சி வந்து இப்போ பண்ண வேண்டியது கட்டாயமாக பண்ணணும். இது ஒரு ஆப்ளிகேஷன். ஸோ அப்படி இருக்கும்போது தமிழ்நாடு பொறுத்த வரைக்கும் நாங்கள் வந்து ஒரு கிட்டத்தட்ட 100 பேர் ரெஜிஸ்டர் பண்ணியிருக்கோம். யார் யார் இந்த உற்பத்தி செய்கிறாங்க, பிளாஸ்டிக் உற்பத்தி யார் செய்கிறாங்க, ஸோ அவங்களுடைய டேட்டாவும் நாங்கள் மானிட்டர் பண்ணிகிட்ருக்கோம். ஸோ இதனால என்ன ஆகும்னா அதாவது உற்பத்தி யார் பண்ணுறாங்க அவங்க கலெக்ஷன் பண்ணுறதுனால அவங்க மேலே ஒரு ஆப்ளிகேஷன் இருக்கிறதுனால கண்டிப்பாக பிளாஸ்டிக் வேஸ்ட்டில் ஒரு ரொம்ப டைட்டான ஒரு கண்ட்ரோல் இருக்கும், எனக்கு நம்பிக்கை இருக்குது.
இப்போ நம்ம கிளைமேட் சேஞ்சஸ் மட்டும் இல்லாமல் சுற்றுச்சூழல் சார்ந்து என்னென்ன எம்ஓயூஸ்லாம் சைன் ஆயிருக்கு, என்னென்ன நாட்டில் இருக்கிற இவங்க ரொம்ப இன்ட்ரெஸ்டடாக இருக்காங்க நம்ம நாட்டு கூட எம்ஓயூ சைன் பண்ணுறதுக்கு, என்ன மாதிரியான ஐடியாஸ் வந்திருக்கு, என்னென்ன நிறுவனங்கள் வரப்போகுது, எந்தெந்த தென் மாவட்டங்களாக இருக்கட்டும் இல்லை சென்னையா எங்கே வரப்போகுது, அந்த மாதிரியான விஷயம்.
ஸோ நம்ம அதாவது டிபார்ட்மெண்ட் வைஸ் எம்ஓயூஸ் நம்ம சொல்லக்கூடாது. ஏன்னா குளோபல் இன்வெஸ்ட்மெண்ட் மீட்டில் இட்ஸ் ஸ்டேட் வைஸ் எம்ஓயூஸ் சைன் பண்ணியிருக்காங்க. ஸோ நீங்கள் நேற்று பார்த்துருப்பீங்க சோலார் செட்டப் பண்ணுறாங்க, அப்புறமா வந்து எலக்ட்ரிக் வெஹிக்கிள் செட்டப் பண்ணுறாங்க. இன்றைக்கி நீங்கள் பார்க்கும்போதே நம்ம டிஸ்கஷனில் வந்து நிறையா என்டர்பிரைசஸ் வந்து அவங்களுடைய எனர்ஜி கன்சம்ஷன் கட் பண்ணுறதுக்காக, வேஸ்ட் கலெக்ஷன் வந்து கட் பண்ணுறதுக்காக நிறையா முயற்சி எடுத்திருக்காங்க. இன்னைக்கு வந்து மத்தியானமும் நாங்கள் யூகே கவர்மெண்ட்டோட ஒரு பார்ட்னர்ஷிப் அக்ரிமெண்ட் நாங்கள் சைன் பண்ணுறோம். வேஸ்ட்டும் பேட்டரி வேஸ்ட் வந்து இன்னும் நல்லா பண்ணுறதுக்கு என்ன மாதிரி டெக்னிக்கல் ப்ரோக்ராம்ஸ் ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணலாம், அதுக்கு ஒரு கொலாபரேஷன் பண்ணுறோம். அது மட்டும் இல்லை, இதுக்கு முன்னாடி ஒரு க்ரீன் பெஞ்ச் மார்க்கிங் ஒவ்வொரு ஃபேக்ட்ரிக்கு வந்து ஒரு ரேட்டிங் பண்ணிவிட்டு க்ரீன் பெஞ்ச் மார்க்கிங் பண்ணுறதுக்கு அந்த முயற்சி கூட நாங்கள் பண்ணிட்டோம்.
தொடர்ந்து வெஹிக்கிள் தொடர்பான நிறுவனங்களும் நம்ம எம்ஓஐ சைன் பண்ணிட்டு இருக்காங்க. அடுத்து வரக்கூடிய காலகட்டங்களில் வெஹிக்கிள் அதிகமாக இருக்க போகுது. இப்போ நீங்கள் சொன்ன பதில் கூட அதுக்கு ரொம்ப சரியாக இருக்குன்னு நினைக்கிறேன். அது மாதிரி வெஹிக்கிள் அதிகமாக வந்துட்டு இருக்கும்போது சுற்றுச்சூழல் சார்ந்த இதுவும் அதிகமாக வந்துட்டு இருக்கா, அதுக்கும் கம்பேரிசன் படி எது அதிகமாக இருக்குது அப்படின்னு
வெஹிக்கிள்ஸ் பொறுத்த வரைக்கும் அதுதான் ஃபியூச்சர். நீங்கள் நார்வேல இப்போ பார்த்தீங்கன்னா நார்வேல வந்து ஒரு தடை பண்ணியிருக்காங்க. அதாவது ஒரு வெஹிக்கிள் தான் இப்போ சேல் பண்ணுறாங்க. ஸோ அவங்க வந்து ஒரு அப்ஜெக்டிவாக வச்சுட்டு ஒரு 2030 அப்படின்னா எல்லா வெஹிக்கிள்ஸும் 2030 2040 எல்லா வெஹிக்கிள்ஸும் வெஹிக்கிள்ஸ் இருக்கணும் அப்படின்னா அவங்க வந்து ஒரு டார்கெட்டை வச்சுருக்காங்க. ஸோ எல்லா கண்ட்ரீஸும் அந்த ஏரியாவுக்கு கண்டிப்பாக மூவ் பண்ண வேண்டியிருக்கு. ஏன்னா இப்போ எனர்ஜி கன்சம்ஷன் ஃபாசில் ஃபியூல்ஸ்லேருந்து கம்மி பண்ணாதான் இந்த கால்நிலை மாற்றம் வந்து நம்மளால் வந்து கண்ட்ரோல் பண்ண முடியும். ஸோ அதில் ஒன்றும் டவுட் இல்லை. ஆனால் இதிலிருந்து வேஸ்ட் வரும், ஏன்னா பேட்டரிஸ்ல இருந்து வேஸ்ட் வரும். ஸோ அது வந்து இப்போயே நம்ம வந்து அது கவனம் செலுத்தி அதுக்கு நிறைய வசதிகள் ரெடி பண்ணுறதுக்கு முயற்சி பண்ணணும்.
தொடர்ந்து வெஹிக்கிள் அடுத்த கட்டமாக அதிகமாக வரக்கூடிய நிலைமை ஏற்பட்டாலும் அதில் இருந்து ஏற்படக்கூடிய இந்த வேஸ்ட்டுகளை சரி பண்ணுறதுக்கும் அதை மறுசுழற்சி செய்திருக்குமான ஏற்பாடுகளையும் செய்யப்பட வேண்டும்னு சொல்லியிருக்கிறாங்க. தொடர்ந்து காலநிலை மாற்றம் தொடர்பான பல்வேறு புரிந்துணர்வு ஒப்பந்தங்களும் அதாவது சுற்றுச்சூழல் சார்ந்தும் நடைபெற்று இருக்குன்னு சொல்லியிருக்கிறாங்க. தொடர்ந்து எங்கள் உலக முதலீட்டாளர்கள் மாநாட்டில் சிறப்பான பல்வேறு அரங்குகளும் செயல்பட்டு வந்துட்டு இருக்கு. நியூஸ் 7 தமிழ் செய்திகளுக்காக ஒளிப்பதிவாளர் அசோக்குடன் செய்தியாளர் ரேவதி சென்னை.